All right, the next step today that we're gonna do is start installing the tongue and groove wall boards. I'm pretty excited about this because this is when you start seeing some real change happening. So I spent last night in my house because it's winter and cold here and the paint doesn't dry very fast. I spent the night in my house last night getting all the boards painted. So I have a bunch of them here. Alright, I got the bottom section done. It's actually a lot harder than I expected. I had to cut all the holes out for the wires, had to kind of fit things around hinges, and it was actually fairly tricky. It took me quite a while. I think that's one of the harder sections. I think as I get over to that side, it's just a bunch of square cuts, so it should be a lot easier. Fingers crossed. Alright, that last row is up. Turned out good. So this wall is all installed. I'm just debating. I was planning on painting these window trim pieces and the window sills white, but could be cool to do some kind of accent around the windows. So I don't know. I might have to call my mom or my sister, someone with some really good eye for colors and stuff like that. I'm actually colorblind, so I'm very bad at picking colors. It's not my expertise by any means, so I may call one of them and see if they think I should do a different color or paint it white. All right, let's start on the other side. Just want to show you real quickly kind of where things stand. I feel like it's coming along pretty nice. Okay, so I got these two back doors. I did the framework on them and did the tongue and groove around them. I still need to paint those. This wall is basically done. I did the slider door. Same thing here, still need to paint the trim. And then of course this wall you've seen too. So making good progress. The electrical work is coming along. Got the fuse block all done and got the DC to DC battery charger hooked up to the battery under the driver's seat. So good progress there. And so today what I'm going to do is start I need to wire in the puck lights in the ceiling so that I can finish the ceiling. So as you can see, I've done the first board on the ceiling, and basically what I did on this was I found the midpoint on the board. You can see a little mark here. I measured this out. Basically from here to this side was 55 inches. My boards have a reveal of 5 inches. I knew that I was going to have 11 boards, and so I needed my midpoint to fall in the middle of a board rather than on the edge. So that's kind of what I've done. I took the first one, I got it mounted, and I just had it go straight across the top of the fan. And then I came back after the fact and made my marks based on the width of the fan, and I cut it just in place. I just set my saw depth on my skill saw so it wasn't very deep, just barely deep enough to cut the wood, and I just cut it upside down. Yes, I was covered in sawdust when I was done, but it worked. And so now I know where my midpoint is, And now I can start kind of figuring out where I want my spacing of my puck lights to go. And then as I start to kind of put some boards up, it'll be much easier to just tuck my ceiling insulation in the boards, and the boards will hold it in place. Last time when I built out a van, I just came in and I took the spray adhesive, sprayed it, I stuck all my insulation up, I got all like eager and thought this is going to be great. The next morning I came out and all of it had fallen and was laying on the ground. So I'm trying to take that lesson learned and apply it to this van build, and I'm just going to use the boards to help hold that in place. That's why I haven't insulated to this point on the ceiling. Well, today seriously kicked my butt. The ceiling was super hard. Trying to get the tongue and groove to go together with the curve of the ceiling, it actually really was pretty tough. So I'm like even still out of breath. And so I'll show you what I've done. So basically at this point, I've done all this area here, which includes 6 puck lights, which you can see, as well as the fan with the trim piece. Alright, I want to show you how I kind of finished off the ceiling. So this is kind of tricky right here because under these boards there's a bunch of line sets for this HVAC unit that's up here, this air conditioner. And they sit lower than the rest of the ceiling area, so I had to kind of build these boards so they sit a little bit lower than the rest of the ceiling tongue and groove boards, almost like furring it out like you would in a basement. So I'm going to paint those and caulk them and make them look nice, and I think it'll be fine. You can see here, it's kind of ghetto looking right there. I had to trim that out so that I could get everything to fit perfectly. So I'm going to create a little kind of wood louver cover right there to cover that up. There's one on the other side as well, and it will look nice when it's done, and it'll be painted white as well. So I think when it's all done, it's going to be no problem. It's not going to look bad. It'll be clean and nice looking, and you probably won't even realize any of that's been done like that. So it's coming along. But join me next time and watch my 13-year-old Bodie take on a project of his own.